This is Julian Jean-Pierre from the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company, and I'm trying new ways to, do my live streams. This time I'm on YouTube and I'm on, what is this here? YouTube and Instagram. And just getting to that end of the day, things are starting to slow down. So I was like, hey, you know what? Let me see who's around. Want to talk about Seamoss. Felt like even today I wanted to talk a little bit about manifestation, like how do people manifest stuff, and how does manifestation, and at least in my view, work, right? Because I think everybody has different views on how things should work and how, it's all, how do you put it? It's like it's all depending on how you see things, are really dependent on your experience, I believe. And that shapes your mind so that you know what I mean? And that's, when they talk about vibrations, I believe that your vibrations happen through your experiences. And, as you open your mind to try new things and experience new stuff, that pushes up your vibration, because now you're operating in areas that you weren't operating before. You know what I mean? And I believe when you raise your vibration, it's not even really like you're raising your vibration, but you're expanding your vibration capability. Meaning that whereas before you might have been vibrating at a very narrow frequency, now you could still vibrate in that frequency, but you've learned to vibrate outside of your frequency. And part of, I believe, that how you put yourself in a position to operate outside your frequencies or your normal frequency would be to try new things that you've never done before. This pushes the envelope of, of your experience. And so the more you get outside of your comfort zone, the more you are able to the more you're able to get outside your comfort zone, the more you're able to expand your vibration capability. What's up? Okay, cool. Yeah, if you want to even dump right there. Yeah. No, I'm saying you can dump them right there.
Oh,
yeah, because I got to price them before I put them in the fridge.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll price them before I leave the store.
Do you know when you expect when you're gonna get the Seamoss?
The Seamoss, it was supposed to be last Wednesday, right? It got a little delayed.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this week.
Yeah.
What I'll do is maybe I'll call you guys later tonight or tomorrow. I haven't spoken to my partner all weekend, and so it's really kind of on him. But I know, like, they're working as hard as they can to get it quickly. It's just a matter of just time and the weather down there.
Okay. No
yeah. If it's rainy, they can't work in the rain.
If it works out, then I'll come next week.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thanks.
Sounds good. Yeah. Oh. So that was the guy from World Moss. Oh, is it starting to snow again? I hope not. If anybody's ever wondering who these guys are, this is World Moss. They're, I guess, one of the biggest Seamoss producers in Canada. They're probably the most I don't want to say professionally done, because a lot of that would imply that a lot of these other guys aren't professional, but they're one of the few in the business where their shelf life, they've been able to crack the code on the shelf. You know what I mean? And so because they've been able to crack the shelf, the code on the shelf, that's part of the reason why we have this in the store. And this shelf life, they say here, it's 3 weeks in the fridge open, 3 months in the fridge sealed, and 1 week at room temperature sealed. Yeah. So here you're talking to me about, asking me the question about whether or not my Seamoss is wild caught or farm raised. And I've actually invited you to talk because I want to kind of have a back and forth conversation, because I feel like it's important to really educate people on the types of Seamoss and the quality of Seamoss. Everybody has this belief that wild caught Seamoss is better than farm Seamoss, But what most people don't realize, it's the exact same thing. They're the same sea moss. There's no different. They all come from the wild. All the sea moss starts in the wild. And those that farm it, they take it from the wild and they I don't know how the word to explain. I guess they propagate it or whatever. It's like, imagine you had a bush, right? And you took a piece of that bush and you replanted it, right? It's kind of like, when you have those, I don't know what the plant is, but every family, like, I don't know. I've always been to a black person's home and they had these plants. And what the people would do is take a piece of, like, if you wanted their plant, you'd take a piece of their plant and they would put it in water and it would start growing roots and then they would replant it. That's kind of how sea moss is farmed. Right, the sea moss is already growing. It's already in a matured state, right? And then we take those pieces from the mature state in the wild, right? And we break them up and we put them on, we attach it to basically a piece of twine, right? The only reason why we attach it to a piece of twine is because if we don't attach it to something, it's going to float away. If it floats away, we can't harvest it. Right? That's the only purpose that the rope does. The rope does not do anything else but secure it in place. Okay? From there, it sits in the water, and it's the currents and the nutrients in the water that feeds the sea moss. Okay? Even if it was attached to the rocks, it's not the rock that's feeding the sea moss. It's the nutrients in the water. Rocks do not provide nutrients to sea moss. Rocks cannot provide direct nutrients to sea moss, in the sense that you can put the sea moss anywhere and it's going to grow. Sure, there's nutrients in the water from the dissolved rocks, but that's everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It has no, how do we say it? There's no improvement on the sea moss by having it attached to the rock. So whether it's wild caught or farm raised really doesn't matter, right? I'll go further into add this, right? You want to be harvesting or collecting your sea moss from a known safe environment, an area that is safe from heavy metals, pollution, human activity, right? Because you got to realize in these islands, let's be honest, they don't have septic systems. They dump the shit right into the sea, right? So you don't want your sea moss near that stuff, right? And so that's it. It's almost better to have sea moss that's farmed than it is to have sea moss that's wild. And the reason why is because we know what is in that environment that the sea moss is growing in. When you pick up that sea moss that's been sitting in a wild environment, you have no idea what passed through that, what that sea moss has been soaking up or filtering. You know what I mean? You just don't know. There could have been a dead body for all you know. You know what I mean? Near there. And the sea moss is the filter. I'll filter that shit, right? So there's a reason why we were growing sea moss in certain areas, because the water is cleaned and it's rich in nutrients. And that's where they get their minerals. So I really, and not to say I get upset, but it just really, to me, it's kind of like when people are asking me, is it wild caught or farmed raised? It's kind of like, you don't understand how sea moss grows, because if you understood it, you'd realize it's all the same thing. And for me, like, to say something's farmed would suggest that it's been, how you say it, helped along in some ways. Like, we add water to it, we add nutrients to it, we add this. Usually you don't leave something out and then let it grow on its own and call it farming, right? So that's where I feel like it's not the same. You know what I mean? The sea moss is growing in the wild wilderness. It's in the wild, as wild as you could get. You know what I mean? And then, frankly, in my opinion, there's no difference this sea moss growing in the wild than it being attached to a piece of twine if it's in the same wild environment. Now, if we took this and put it in a greenhouse, then I could see where the argument is coming from, but that's not the case. And so, it's just not the case. So I guess to answer your question, though, it's a little of both, because we work with divers and we work with farmers. And the divers tend to pick up the sea moss that's been floating all around, and the farmers pick up the sea moss that's floating around and put it on a line. Okay, it's like I said, it's really the same thing. And sorry if I kind of ranted and went on repeatedly. It's just, I don't know. I'm just really passionate about this, right? And about this fact. And I feel like, our problem is, not our problem, but like, what's the word I could say? It's almost like we're missing the boat by focusing on whether it's wild or not, right? What we really should be focusing on is what's actually in Seamoss. You know what I mean? No one really knows what's in Seamoss. They know there's 92 minerals, but they don't know what those minerals are. And for me, that to me is like, that's the problem right there. You don't know, like, how are you selling a product and not know what nutrients are beneficial to your customers? Do you know what I mean? To say like 92, that's almost like, that's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, that's like flash hype. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, it's 92 minerals. Eventually, what's the word? That shock value, or that, you know what I mean? That impressive number begins to lose its value, because without having the nutrients to back it up as to what these 92 are, it's like, you know what I mean? It doesn't hold the weight that it's supposed to, right? And so I wonder too, how many customers ask other people, like they're selling the Seamoss, what nutrients are in Seamoss? And I wonder how many people actually know, say more than 10, right? Because they always say 92 minerals and they give this list, right? And I'm warning everybody now, anybody that sees it, do not touch that 92 mineral list that's been going around the internet. It is a joke, all right? And anybody that has any sort of cognitive thinking, or you know what I mean, like that type of thinking that they're going to question stuff, like, you know what I mean, they're going to soon find out that whatever you're pushing, you're like a snake oil salesman, because you're trying to market something as being better. Not to say that it's not better, but you're trying to, say all these things to make it sound like it's better, right? And the list sucks. Like, you don't want krypton in your Seamoss. You know what I mean? You don't want arsenic in your Seamoss. That's some of the stuff that was on that 92 mineral list, which I was kind of like, really? Like, you're serious? Like, you know what I mean? This is your list. What I tell people, Seamoss, that's awesome, Jasmine. I'm happy to hear that. I hope, not to say I hope it gets it on time, but I'll try to get it out on time. I'll be honest, we've been a little bit backed up on a few orders, and we're waiting for a new shipment of Seamoss to come in. It's tough. It's not like I don't have enough Seamoss, but the reality is we're getting to that point of capacity where it's like the guys are working full steam ahead, and they can only pack so much Seamoss in an hour. And we're selling more Seamoss than we can actually pack and put in the boxes and ship to us. And so it's just like, I'm running out. You know what I mean? We like less than a month ago, I had 1,000 pounds. It's gone. You know what I mean? And now I'm already taking orders so that hopefully if we can send 2,000 pounds this week, half of it's already going to be gone, because I'm already selling most of it. You know what I mean? So it's tough trying to stay on top of this demand, right? That being said, getting back to my talking about these nutrients and stuff like that. So when I'm talking about Seamoss and I'm showing the benefits of Seamoss, the things that I talk most about is the fact that it has high amounts of magnesium. It has high amounts of calcium. It has high amounts of iron. It has manganese. It has selenium, phosphorus, zinc. I talk about those, and I talk about what these nutrients how they affect our body and why we should be taking these nutrients. Then I also talk about the amino acids. Well, I don't go into the exact amino acids. I do sometimes mention that it's got taurine, which it has in it. And taurine is good for energy, and it's good for even helping to lose weight, right? It has a high amount of dietary fiber. So the fiber helps with acting as a prebiotic, and then also as a way to remove toxins from the system. So I'm saying this is why you need to eat it, because it got all this stuff, right? It has capabilities that help reduce inflammation, and some of that could help reduce the stress and tension that you get from your body being inflamed from all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So these are the things that we should be we should never even be talking about 92 minerals, because it doesn't exist. And you know, anybody that does their research will soon realize that you're lying to them, right? This is a product that I've spoken about before on our live streams, and it's something that I'm you know, very like this is our number one seller. This sells a lot of products. We sell a lot of this product every year. Every month we probably sell maybe like 100 bottles or something, like 200 bottles of this stuff, and it's like $38. And really what it is Seamoss powder in a capsule form, right? But they call it algae cal, and it has clinical studies that show that the amount of calcium plus the trace trace nutrients help rebuild bone. It's the only product on the market that allows you to rebuild bone using their product, whereas most calcium supplements, they stop you from losing bone, but they don't actually rebuild any of the bone that you've already lost. So whatchamacallit? Sorry, I just got a message here. So you want to talk about those nutrients, and here's some other stuff that's in Seamoss. Oh, sorry, we were talking about the powder. Yeah, so this is algae cal. It's a Seamoss powder. What's up, Rick? And it builds the bones, and you know, it's the only calcium that builds the bones, and it's because it has all these other trace nutrients. Here's some of the stuff that's found in algae cal: boron, copper, manganese, nickel, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, silica, strontium, vanadium, and zinc. Like, these are the kind of things that you should be saying that's in Seamoss. Not talking about some 92 mineral and copy and paste the list that you searched on Google for, and you don't even look at the nutrients that are in the list, and you don't realize that it has krypton and it has like radium in it or whatever. Like, it's just crazy when you see some of the stuff that's in it, and you're kind of like, come on, man, like, these people can't be serious. You know, they can't think we're being serious. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions about the Seamoss. I kind of went on a big rant right there about just these nutrients. This guy's funny. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. You need to spend more time learning before you start trading. Yo, what's up, Yusuf? Let's see if he's there. What's up, bro? Where are you? Yeah, why does it sound like that?
I'm at home right now.
Is it snowing outside or something? There's like a static. That's your headpiece? Oh.
Yeah, that's the curtain going on.
Oh. You know